Welcome to Purposive Communication. This lesson is prepared and created by Ms. Raymond Zaira M. Fernandez, a faculty of the Department of Languages and Literature, College of Arts and Sciences, Central Mindanao University. We are now at Unit 5. In this unit, we will talk about communication for research purposes. Specifically, we will learn about the following concepts: etiquettes of writing, text message, email, letter of request, and informed consent form. In this topic, we will have first etiquettes of writing. Are you ready? Written correspondence is a timeless form of communication that has advanced in our era since the invention of computers and cell phones. With technology advancement, less formal writing styles have appeared through email, text messaging, the internet, etc. However, it is important to be aware of your writing style and convey your professionalism when writing to your employer, co-worker, or professor. Written correspondence is a way to promote communication and clarity in your everyday tasks. While written communication affords greater flexibility, since it can be edited and both composed and read at leisure or at one's pace, a great deal of care needs to be taken, in order to ensure its effectiveness, as it can serve as a point of reference, which one can turn to time and again, thus creating a more lasting impact. This time, we will have the 10 etiquette tips for written correspondence. First is be courteous. Number 2, capitalize the first letter in each sentence. Next is to use a complete sentence. 4. Be formal and address the person by their name. 5. Be direct and clear in your writing. Get to the point of your communication and don't feel like you need to add additional sentences to make it longer. 6. Reread your response before finalizing it. This will lessen the likelihood of you having spelling or grammar errors. We also have Number 7, conclude your response with a closing thank you or sincerely. Also remember that your written response is quotable and can be easily referenced. Make sure that what you are writing, you would also be willing to say to someone's face. 9. Know the appropriate time to communicate in writing versus by phone or in person. Lastly is to know when to ask for help. If you are sending an important written document, ask a peer for advice or have them review it. Written correspondence can be casual or professional. Your written communication can be a way to impress the person you are writing to and show them your professionalism. It can be a way to communicate to a larger group of people in a more efficient way. Try implementing some or all of these tips in your writing today. Continuing with the series of etiquettes in communication, language expert Preeti Shirodkar also tells us about what we need to keep in mind while communicating and writing. With the following, we will talk about the 12 common etiquettes in written communication. Focus on formats. Be aware of the various letter writing formats. The various formal writing forms have a predetermined, universally accepted format that accompanies them. This format, which is largely based on universal writing conventions, serves to facilitate communication, by eliminating miscommunication that may result through random writing styles. Moreover, these formats are likely to change with time, due to the evolving nature of communication and/or technology. Structuring of the content. Make sure you structure the content of what you're writing well. While writing, one should ensure that the content is well organized, with the overview/basic details comprising the introduction, all major points with their explanation and exemplification constituting the body, preferably divided into a separate paragraph each for every new point, with titles and subtitles, if necessary, and drawing together of the argument/charting out future possibilities, in the conclusion. Ensuring connectivity. The content that comprises a piece of writing should reflect fluency and should be connected through a logical flow of thought, in order to prevent misinterpretation and catch the attention of the reader. Moreover, care should be taken to ensure that the flow is not brought about through a forced/deliberate use of connectives, like therefore, also, but etc., as this make the piece extremely uninteresting and artificial. Lack of connectivity can often lead to communication gaps, misinterpretation and doubts. Tempering the content as per the level of formality. Tone your communication bearing in mind how formal or casual your relationship is with the receiver. The level of formality that is shared between the sender and receiver should define the use of salutations, the vocabulary, the content, the format and even the medium. Though not integral to the matter communicated, this courtesy helps in creating a balanced impression about the communicator. Steering clear of short forms. People may not be aware of the meaning of various short forms and may thus find it difficult to interpret them. Moreover, short forms can at times be culture-specific or even organization-specific and may thus unnecessarily complicate the communication. Life in 140 characters is okay for Twitter, not otherwise. Importance of grammar, spellings and punctuation. Bad grammar and spellings can land you in trouble even today. Improper grammar can at worst cause miscommunication and at least result in unwarranted humor and should be thus avoided. So too, spellings can create the same effect or can even reflect a careless attitude on part of the sender. Finally, effective use of punctuation facilitates reading and interpretation and can in rare cases even prevent a completely different meaning, which can result in miscommunication, from evolving. Sensitivity to the audience. Don't take your audience for granted. Make sure they understand what you're talking about. One needs to be aware of and sensitive to the emotions, need and nature of the audience in choosing the vocabulary, content, illustrations, formats and medium of communication, as a discomfort in the audience would hamper rather than facilitate communication. Importance of creativity. Make sure your communication doesn't end up in a pile of garbage. Be a little creative. In order to hold the reader's attention, one needs to infuse creativity to break the tedium of writing and prevent monotony from creeping in. This is especially true in the case of all detailed writing that seeks to hold the reader's attention. Creativity, however, does not involve only humor or being insensitive to the readers and defines the style of the communicator. Avoiding plagiarism. Any source from which matter has been taken, whether verbatim or as a summary, in the latter case if the idea is drawn upon or the matter is large, should be acknowledged by providing references or quotes either in the body of the text or at the end through footnotes, a reference list or bibliographical details. Avoiding opinionated points of view. Paying attention to categorical/opinionated points of view in the context of written communication becomes in fact all the more crucial, as unlike in oral communication, where a reference to them might prove transitory/may not be noticed, in written communication, it serves as a recorded statement that can be referred to time and again, resulting in greater alienation of the audience. Avoiding excessive use of jargon. Excessive use of jargon can put off a reader, who may not read further, as, unlike a captive audience, the choice of whether to participate in the communication rests considerably with the reader. On the flip side, it can be argued that in written communication, dealing with jargon may be simpler, as people have a dictionary/reference point, which they could use to decode the information or they could peruse it at their own pace. This, however, does not mean you can overlook the negative impact that excessive jargon can cause. Awareness of the audience/medium. The medium needs to be chosen, as per its suitability to the audience/content, while the content would need tempering as per the medium/audience. For example, while an elaborate message can be sent via a letter or an email, an SMS, the same content may have to be heavily edited. Like all effective communication, good writing could be said to occur when the gap between what one desires to say and what one is constrained to mean is negligible or almost non-existent, and though the scope to edit, Rewrite and reread may add a certain degree of effectiveness to writing. The words of Nathaniel Hawthorne effectively echo the real challenge involved in the task. Easy reading is damned hard writing. We also have business etiquette in writing the documents. Let us discuss 15 things to remember while proofreading and revising your writing. Clarity. Your writing must be understood at the first reading. Avoid technical jargon, unfamiliar words or formal language. Formal versus modern. For example, payment has been duly noted versus we received your check. Attached hereto versus please find attached. Avoid ambiguity. Words with double meaning or sentences that confuse readers should be avoided. Avoid colloquialisms. Example, in a nutshell versus in short. In this day and age versus today, presently. Avoid using many words. Example, prior to the event versus before. At this point in time versus now. Avoid unnecessary repetition. Example, absolutely essential, combined together. Correctness. Check accuracy of grammar and spelling of names of people and places. Completeness. Check that all the information the reader will need is included. Include only relevant information. Omit unnecessary background information. Keep sentences short and simple, 17 words or less. Convincing. Use language that is believable. Avoid exaggeration and superlatives. Example, always versus usually, never versus rarely. Concreteness. Give specific details. Don't rely on spell check. Courtesy. Display good manners in your writing. Use passive voice when communicating bad news to avoid negative overtones. Use bullet points. It communicates your message in an easy and clear manner. It highlights the most important information. Write with the reader in mind. In this lesson, we discussed about the etiquettes of writing. What have you learned? In the next lessons, we will have netiquette, text messages, emails, letter of request and informed consent form. That is end of Unit 5, Lesson 2. Thank you for watching.